Ew, look at that audience. They don't seem to be having a good time. Though your audience may not show it quite like these folks, any presentation has the ability to go up in flames. However, if I can prevent you from burning at the stake, I will. I'm going to clue you into one of my favorite speaking tips, a rhetorical tool that has helped me look at presentations in a new light. This tool transforms presentations into lessons, makes the material digestible for the audience, and with any luck, stick with them beyond the 5 minutes you have on stage. Hang on to your socks, otherwise I may knock them off. My name is Zach Herring, and this is The Narrative Paradigm, supported by Princess Nix Productions and made possible in part by viewers like you. So, what is the narrative paradigm? The narrative paradigm is a rhetorical tool used in ancient and modern communications in order to relay story. This is more than just Disney's Once Upon a Time. Narrative paradigm is the equivalent to fusion and function, a story that persuades. You may be asking, persuasion in a story? Yes, but more than that. This is telling a story that your audience will be able to emotionally invest in. A story that captivates the audience so well, the persuasion is seemingly undetectable. You see, straightforward arguments draw attention to the fact that you're attempting to persuade. This often can put the audience on guard. Simply knowing that you are attempting to alter their preconceived notions is not usually met with warm welcome. This is not to say that you are deceiving your audience. You are merely inviting them to be persuaded with the story that you're about to tell. This practice is no new concept, for its origins started far before modern-day conference meetings, far before Walt Disney was pumping out princesses, and even before it was given a proper name. Before we move forward, let's take note, Walter Fisher is the forefather of what is formerly known as the narrative paradigm. Narrative paradigm is comprised of two distinct parts, each with their own intended use as it pertains to the audience. Fisher broke down these narrative paradigms into two major components, cohesion and fidelity. Cohesion is the seaweed wrap of a finely crafted sushi roll. It holds all the content together, making it easy for the audience to consume and digest. The story you tell your audience should make logical sense. If the content of the presentation is scattered, unorganized, and difficult to follow, the audience will quickly disengage. Coherence is a combination of boundaries and focal points for your audience to follow along. Coherence is key to the narrative paradigm, for without it, you have lost all logical means for your audience to follow along. The second half of Fisher's narrative paradigm is the ability for your presentation to resonate with the audience. In short, this translates to telling a story with the same moral principles or core values that your audience already holds. True, you may be giving new information in your presentation. So how do you attune your presentation to the beliefs and values of the audience? Research. Simply look into what kind of people will be attending your presentation. You should have a good idea on the beliefs and values as a whole that your audience holds based on location, demographic, and established connections you already have with the audience. Fidelity is a major part of narrative paradigm, for audience needs to feel that the story you're telling 100 people was designed with each and every one of them in mind. Without fidelity, no one will care what happens in your story. In fact, I have a real-life example for you to pull from. My sophomore year of college, I took a rhetorical analysis class with the always radiant Kristen McCullough. I broke down and examined two different television commercials by Chipotle, the Mexican grill food chain. I found strong evidence of both cohesion and fidelity within these commercials, and was able to pick apart and strategically emphasize each within the commercials. Furthermore, I point out how these commercials persuade customers to eat at their restaurants. I've included both these commercials in the space below. People are amazing creatures. One, on a day-to-day basis, we intake and retain vast amounts of knowledge. So, how do we make your presentation stand out? How do you make your audience remember you even 2 days after the presentation has been given? You tell a story. All human beings are awestruck by the power of story. Stories make information interesting, retainable, and engaging. So now you know, my tricks are your tricks. To relay and give a persuasive speech, all you need to do is start with once upon a time. And now, a quick word from our sponsor.